According to the Federal Trade Commission, from 2016 to 2020, the reported dollar losses from romance scams increased more than fourfold, while the number of reports nearly tripled. In 2020, this amounted to total losses of $304 million. In addition, monetary losses from romance scams rose from $20.5 million to $28.6 million from 2017 to 2019, according to the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. Globalization and having access to the internet has made it much easier nowadays to run dating and romance scams all around the world. With more and more people turning towards either online dating or taking a trip down to a foreign country such as Vietnam with the hopes of meeting that special someone, scammers are finding plenty of opportunities to line their pockets at the victim's expense. In this video, I'm going to expose some of the most common dating scams here in Vietnam. If you don't want to end up being swindled and being on long wait times over the phone with your bank, then make sure you watch until the end to learn all about these dating scams here in Vietnam. In this dating scam, the Vietnamese girl tries to locate a naive foreigner that she knows is desperate to get some female attention and is ready to marry him in a heartbeat. She then sweet talks and may even sleep with the guy with the goal of ensnaring him. Once she feels she has gotten her claws sunk into him, she will pressure him into marriage. If he brushes her suggestion aside, she may suggest that there are other guys chasing after her, but she wants to be with him. She will use every trick up her sleeves to try and entrap the guy to marry her. And once they are married and she has arrived in her destination of choice, she will attempt to break up with the guy. Usually once she's gotten the green light that she's eligible for permanent residence or citizenship. Here are some examples of things she might do. She will try to start a fight with the guy out of thin air. She will accuse the guy of physical abuse, shaming, cheating on him with someone else. The list goes on, and before the sucker knows it, she's gotten her citizenship, green card, and he's left supporting her through spousal support for several years. Gee, I guess it never occurred to any of these guys that something was fishy when she was so eager to get married after only meeting them a handful of times. And if the poor fella managed to get her pregnant, well then, good luck with your 18 years of child support. Believe it or not, but there are actually some girls in Vietnam who love to find naive foreign men and use them as a meal ticket to wine and dine at expensive restaurants at the guy's expense. After taking her to these luxurious restaurants, they will never hear from her again, or she may try to run the same scam again at a different high-end place. Now, while it is perfectly fine to treat your girlfriend or wife to a nice dinner once in a while, such as on her birthday or an anniversary, a girl that you just met or started seeing recently should not be demanding that you take her to all these expensive Michelin star level restaurants right from the get-go. I've been on dates before with Vietnamese girls who told me that after seeing the bill that we shouldn't come and eat at this expensive place again in the future. I've also had dates where girls tried to pull a fast one on me by suggesting somewhere else to drink or eat at that was astronomically more expensive than my original proposal. Which one of these girls do you think was more genuine? If you find yourself always having to resort to taking your date or girlfriend to fancy and expensive restaurants on a regular basis, most likely you're being taken advantage of, and she only sees you as a meal ticket for sampling the finer things in life. This is another common scam that fortunately doesn't involve money. There are some girls that go online to dating websites to take advantage of guys desperate for some female attention, or they lead them on with absolutely no intention of ever meeting up with the guy. Instead, they waste the guy's time by conversing and practicing English with them. Of course, if the guy is desperate for female attention or he's none the wiser, then he'll continue to waste more of his time talking with her. While he's thinking that he's one step closer towards getting inside of her pants, she's found herself a big fat catch. You will usually find these girls on popular dating apps such as Tinder who seek out foreign guys just to be friends with them, with the goal of taking advantage of them to get free English lessons. And when they get called out, they pretend they don't know that it's a dating site. Pretty lame, right? Go on a dating site yet fake ignorance about how you don't know it's only for dating, and that you're only there to make friends and practice English. There are places for that, and it's called a language exchange site. Either she didn't get the memo, or she thinks using a dating site as a means of free English lessons would be a better option. My spider senses thinks the latter. Some of these girls will even get into an online relationship with these guys if it means free English lessons for her. Of course, they never do meet in real life though. This one builds upon the previous scam. Rather than using unsuspecting men to practice English with, some girls will even take this a step further and ask guys who they're kind of seeing to send her money on a regular basis so that she can take English lessons. A typical excuse you will hear out of her mouth is that it will help her better communicate with you if she takes English lessons. Now, whether or not she really does use the money for taking lessons or for her trips to the Louis Vuitton store is anyone's guess. But one thing is for sure, there's a sucker born every minute. This scam is very common with long distance type of relationships where the guy isn't around regularly to check up on her nefarious activities. Unless it's a real emergency, backed up with evidence, anytime a woman that you're seeing starts asking you for money, alarm bells should be ringing in your head. I mean, it's one thing to pay for food, drinks, movie tickets, etc. when you're going out on a date, but a girl should not be outright asking you for money. Scammers that fall under this category love to target foreigners, especially those that don't live in Vietnam, because it allows them to juggle and string multiple guys along for the ride and multiplying her earnings, which is probably why it's widely prevalent in long distance and online dating relationships. Guy meets a girl when he went on vacation to Vietnam, and then he returns back home and they keep in touch, or if they're a full-blown simp, they would have sent her money anyways, despite never actually having met her in real life at all. The girl will start off either asking for money from you outright, or if she's a bit smarter, delay asking for any money until she's won over your trust. In the beginning, dating will appear great, and she'll try to please you any way that works to win over your trust. But once she's certain she has you won over, this is when she'll either start asking you for money, or implying that she needs it. She may even resort to rejecting your offers of giving her money to make it seem like she isn't really interested in taking your money. But don't fall for it, it's all an act. Some of the tricks up her sleeve to extract money from you might include things like telling you about a family member suddenly getting sick and she doesn't have money to pay the medical bills, not having money to cover the cost of getting a visa to come see you, her motorbike breaking down, her house got broken into, or her valuables getting stolen. Whatever it is, it's all a lie. The money isn't used at all for any of these things that she mentioned, but rather to fund her extravagant lifestyle. In some cases, she may even try to guilt trip you by mentioning how her friends got a hold of some new handbags or that they went to so-and-so place but she hasn't gotten the opportunity yet. And if that doesn't work, she may even bring up how her friends' boyfriends are getting them all of these expensive things, or how they give the girlfriends a monthly allowance, yet you give her nothing and you don't care about her. These girls can make quite a good living off of all their clueless sponsors from various countries. Why bother getting a job when you can have money or expensive gifts handed to you on a silver platter every month from fools afar? Now so far, I've covered the smarter scammers in this scenario, but the ones with fish brains on the other hand, will instead go on several dating websites and social media platforms and outright ask random strangers for money by feeding them some fake sob story that anyone with half a brain could tell is a scam from a mile away. And in most cases, their photos are fake, and that's if they are even smart enough to use a photo at all, unlike this leech right here. Hey, can you send me some money to buy food? I'm starving here. Why, of course! How could I be so selfish? I'm sure I've got a few $1,000,000 lying around the house somewhere. You look like such a trustworthy person, especially without a profile picture and having randomly messaged me on Facebook asking for money. I'm sure you must be starving and out of money, despite the fact that you have access to social media and the internet using your phone. Here, let me just Western Union that over to you right now. This one is similar to her just outright asking you for money. However, the term give has been swapped with borrow, but it's pretty much the same thing. Most of these girls actually don't intend on repaying back the loan that you've given them. And once the money is in her hands, you can pretty much kiss it goodbye because she won't be giving it back to you anytime soon. A common tactic is to say they don't have money for so-and-so, such as the ability to pay for rent or to buy food. One of my friends over here in Vietnam actually encountered the scam from a girl he was seeing. It didn't take long for her to start asking him to borrow money from him soon after seeing him because she claimed to have some financial difficulties. She fed him all sorts of sob stories to try to get him to fork over the dough, but luckily, he didn't think with his Another very common dating scam is termed catfishing. No, not this type of catfishing. In the catfishing scam, criminals and lowlives use text messages, emails, pictures, and even video calls as a means of hooking their victims in, by impersonating someone or making up a fake persona. A scammer usually spends a period of time developing good rapport with the victim, before finally attempting to extract money from them, in most cases either directly or through blackmail. However, it's not uncommon for some victims to be used as a drug mule as well via accepting shady packages in the mail for them. This is why you should always try to meet the girl in person soon after meeting them online to minimize the chances of things like this happening. And if you can't, then at least try to get them on a voice or video call just to at least confirm that it's a woman, not some dude behind a dark hoodie posing as a female. Common sense, people! This one is similar to the catfishing scam, except this time the developers of the dating app are the masterminds behind the scam. On certain dating apps, you will occasionally run across some attractive female first pretending to be interested in you, only to later suggest that you switch to another dating app because she doesn't use this app much. Now, the only problem is, the second app requires you to get a paid membership in order to communicate with the person. And that girl that you were talking to was most likely an employee working for this dating company. Now, when you do suggest that they instead give you their Zalo, WhatsApp, Facebook, Skype, Snapchat, Viber, Line, KakaoTalk, Instagram, TikTok, WeChat, MySpace, Number, and the other half a dozen obsolete social media apps, they will then make up excuses and say they don't use any of these apps. Are you seriously telling me that you don't use a single one of these apps, but you somehow use some random shady app that no one's ever heard about before? If that doesn't scream scam, then I don't know what does. Be careful of dating websites and apps that require you to purchase credit in order to read emails, see videos of members, or to chat with them. Oftentimes, it's an employee masquerading as some attractive girl pretending to take an interest in you to motivate you to continue purchasing credits to talk with them and slowly draining your bank account. If she isn't willing to continue talking with you on your current platform, and instead insists that you come over to this new app, then that's your cue to chuck them in the garbage. And now a quick shout out to thank all of my Patreon supporters. This video was made possible by your generous support. If you enjoy my videos and are interested in helping to support this channel directly, then head on over to my Patreon page. There's a link in the description below. Seeking love should be a marathon, not a sprint, yet so many men rush into relationships and leave their brains back home, only to end up getting fleeced in the process. If you apply a little common sense and take some precautions, then a lot of these dating scams can be avoided. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified when my next video gets released. And if you liked today's video, then make sure to watch these two videos that I have right here as well, where I talk more about dating Vietnamese girls. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.